Hello and welcome to a special interview on Sonic Attack with me, Scamperton, on Rhondda Radio. Here we have Tanglejack tonight now, nice acoustic folky duo for you. So where are you from, but guys, and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm John Paul. I'm the one who stands on the left. Do I stand on the left? Yeah, I stand on the left. I'm from around Pontevedra.
John Paul is also the lead singer of Tanglejack.
Yes. Well done.
I'm Duncan. I'm the lead guitarist and backing vocalist, and I'm from just outside Ammanford, a little place called Glenamon.
And you stand on the right?
I stand on the right, yes. And sometimes on a little step so that we don't look as ridiculously mismatched in the height department.
Very important information there. So what's that in Welsh then? Very important, I can't remember.
Gwybodaeth pwysig iawn.
Pwysig, yeah. Okay, so yeah, as we know now, you speak Welsh, because you spoke Welsh on the phone earlier when you came in. That's great. Ti'n siarad Cymraeg, gwych, iawn, whatever. Anyway, so here we go, let's start properly then. So you said where you're from. So what influences both of you as growing up, or now as well?
Well, we're an acoustic folk duo. So the music that kind of we were listening to growing up that's most, kind of directly influenced what we do as Tanglejack, I would say has to be the acoustic Led Zeppelin songs.
Yeah, sort of songs from 3 and 4 mainly, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Even though we love the heavy stuff, I think the acoustic stuff has definitely, found its way into into our own music that we make ourselves, and Simon and Garfunkel. You're a massive Springsteen fan, aren't you, John Paul?
Yes, I am, but only in my later years. No, sort of in my 20s and 30s, right? When we were younger, it's people like Pentangle, wasn't it? Those sort of Fairport Convention, those sort of bands as well, that had a big influence on the sort of way we write now. But yeah, Springsteen, Rufus Wainwright, all sorts of modern.
Yeah, we both grew up on our parents' record collections, which was basically 60s and 70s stuff.
Yeah.
So, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, we kind of really fed off all of that kind of British pop and rock. And, I quite like the psychedelic stuff as well. But, definitely we're both, into Zeppelin and that kind of, really clever, folky acoustic guitar. John Paul mentioned Pentangle. That's kind of our bag, really, isn't it?
So let's play 2 tracks now by some influences that you like and some bands you like. So any bands, songs you want us to play?
Yeah, definitely. Let's go for let's have The Boxer then by Simon and Garfunkel. That's one of my faves.
That's great, yeah. And you,
and could we go with Tangerine by Led Zeppelin, please?
Okay. 4 lambs down?
Third.
I got that one, yeah. So so introduce them again. So see, this is
The Boxer by Simon and Garfunkel.
And this is Tangerine from the album Led Zeppelin 3.
I am just a poor boy, though my story is seldom told. I have squandered my resistance for a pocket full of mumbles, such are promises. All lies and jest, still a man hears what he wants to hear and disregards the rest. When I left my home and my family, I was no more than a boy in the company of strangers, in the quiet of the railway station, running scared. Laying low, seeking out the poorer quarters where the ragged people go, looking for the places only they would know. Lie-la-lie, 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 lie-la-lie. Asking only workmen's wages, I come looking for a job, but I get no offers. Just to come on from the wars on 7th Avenue. I do declare there were times when I was so lonesome I took some comfort there. La 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 la. And I'm laying out my winter clothes and wishing I was gone, going home, where the New York City winters aren't bleeding me, bleeding me. Stands a boxer and a fighter by his trade, and he carries the reminders of every glove that laid him down or cut him till he cried out in his anger and his shame, I am leaving, but the fighter still remains. Lie, la, lie, lie, la, 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 lie, la, lie. Lie, la, lie. Lie, la, 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 lie, la, lie, la, 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 lie. Lie, la, 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 lie, la, lie, lie, la, lie. Lie, la, 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 lie, la, lie, la, 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 lie. Lie, la, 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 lie, la, lie, lie, la, lie. Lie, la, 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 lie, la, lie, la, 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 lie. Lie, la, 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 lie.
Day, I only find it slips away to gray. The hours they bring me pain. Tangerine, living reflections from a dream. I was her love, she was my queen, and now 1,000 years between. Thinking how it used to be, does she still remember times like these? To think of us again, and I do.
Okay, so you just heard the first part of the interview with Tanglejack. We're on Sonic Attack and me, Scamperton. Welcome back, Tanglejack. Second part of the interview now.
Thanks for having us.
So, yeah, thanks for coming in. Over to Ponty from, Swansea, you said?
Yeah.
So how long have you both been playing together and how long have you been actually playing the guitar?
Well, we've been playing together for about 35 years.
We worked it out the other day. It's 34, I think.
34 years, yeah. So we started off playing in a brass band in the Ammon Valley, Gwankagura brass band, both on cornet.
Oh.
And then got chatting. We were only 3 or 4 younger children, I guess, in the band at that time. And sharing our record collections, or our mother's record collections, really, and talking about different bands, and eventually picking up the guitar and playing together.
Yeah, that's right. I'd been learning guitar, and then John Paul often says that I, kind of like encouraged him to take up the bass. But he's a very good bassist, so I think he's
yes, very
really.
true, actually. Yeah, but not very true. I should be I should be thankful to you for pushing me towards the bass, because that is my actual real instrument. But in Tanglejack, I do strum along to Dunk's excellent guitar playing as well.
Yeah.
So we played in the brass band for years, and then joined a rock band with friends, and went through all the different stages of playing Maiden and Metallica and Megadeth.
And you were into your jazz and stuff.
Yeah, and then and Dunk's actually a fantastic classical guitar player as well. So we have very wide-ranging influences, but eventually, after all those years, we came back to working on the acoustic folk rock that we really love.
Yeah, we kind of started that back kind of in around about the age of 30, and then we've stuck with it ever since, and I think that's where the needle has dropped now, isn't it? And,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, really enjoying.
Yes, you said your music sounds like Sound of Garfunkel and Led Zeppelin 3 and 4 stuff.
Yeah, it's a mixture of those sort of styles. It's a lot of actual, what we call sort of songwriting. So I know a lot of the Led Zepp stuff and those sort of bands, they're rockier.
Yeah, more riffy.
Yeah, more riffy, yeah.
Melody-led,
we are definitely a songwriting duo, and we work a lot on that craft of honing the songs in the way that all your favourite writers like the Beatles or, whoever.
Totally, because for me personally, there was a big difference between the guitarists I grew up idolising and the songwriters I grew up idolising, because when I wanted to learn to write songs, I was listening, critically to the Beatles and Elton John and people like that, and learning songwriting from them. Whereas when I listened to, to Jimmy Page, I wanted to learn to, be able to play all that snazzy kind of, lead guitar stuff, all clever acoustic. So we've got that two kind of different sides, haven't we? Really,
definitely, yeah.
Okay, that's great. Lovely. So where can people find you on the internet?
Tanglejack.co.uk is the best place to find everything, because that has links to all our social media and everything else. But then Bandcamp is a fantastic site that hosts bands, and all our music is available on there. So Bandcamp, and then search for Tanglejack.
And I know Tanglejack on YouTube as well.
Yeah, on YouTube, on Spotify. It's everywhere, but it's nice to direct people towards the website and Bandcamp if we can.
They can buy your stuff on Bandcamp.
Yeah, it's all available on Bandcamp. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
physical albums on there, and even things like T-shirts and badges and all sorts of stuff.
I was just about to say, if you want one of our ever popular badges, don't you actually have to come to a gig? Or is it only the pens that are exclusively sold at our live shows?
The pens are exclusive to the gigs, but you can actually get a badge on Bandcamp,
You can?
You can.
Wow.
I know. I have had requests for them to be posted out, and I did that actually by hand. I drove to someone's house and put it through the letterbox.
Okay.
No way.
I did.
Well, I'm not going to bother telling a funny story later.
Since you talking about gigs, now when's your next gigs coming up now?
No, next one now is in Tenby, but I think after this, they'll be before this show goes out. So the next, our next gig is actually part of the RAF, which is the Rhondda Arts Festival, which we're really looking forward to. We haven't played it before, so that's our next one on the 28th of June, which is Saturday coming.
Yeah, and that's in Treorchy, isn't it?
Yeah, in Treorchy.
In the Boys and Girls Club,
That's
which is
right.
next to Court.
Yeah, they've kindly hosting the whole the day of what's called the Festival Saturday, because this year it's not on a mice, it's not on a field, it's sort of around the town, it's in different places. So we're on there on the Saturday at 5:40.
And if you don't know where Co-op is in Treorchy, it's right next to Park and Day as well, the theatre.
Can't miss that.
Okay, it's about recording then. You just said you got your music on Bandcamp. Is the recording going well? You've done a lot of recording?
Yeah, the first album we did entirely on our own, which was a bit of a learning experience. And then we went to a friend of ours called Branwyn to record a 4-track EP, which was fantastic, called Blackwood.
Yeah, up in Gold Hill Studios.
Yeah, in near Cardigan there in West Wales. And that was a great experience. We sort of did all that live with the guitars together, and we sang together, so it was a nice live feel to it. And then for the last album, the most recent one was out about a year ago, called The Ragged Edge. We recorded all that ourselves and then sent it off to Tim Hamill, who works in Sonic One Studios in Llanelli, and he mixed and mastered all that. So it's got our recording, but his excellent production skills on there, so that sounds great.
Yeah, we were really wowed by the sound of the EP and the album.
Yeah.
You know, so it was fun to do it ourselves first time round, but you know, as John Paul said, a learning curve. So yeah, it was great to work with some experienced producers.
Definitely.
Yeah, so if we play a track or two off that album now, is it?
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
So do you want to introduce 2 tracks then?
Yeah. Let's have a listen to
The Ragged Edge.
Yeah, The Ragged Edge, which is the title track from the album, and Garden of Your Heart.
Yeah, Garden of Your Heart. That was described in one review as pleasantly poppy, and it attracted the attention of BBC Radio Wales, didn't it, JP?
It did.
Which we weren't aware of until
we had a call from somebody, one of our friends, saying, "You're on the radio," which is always a nice moment. Yeah. So we can hear that on rhondda radio as well. That'd be great.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. So introduce him and say bye Tanglejack as well.
Yeah, sure. Do the Ragged Edge.
What do I say?
The Ragged Edge by Tanglejack.
Okay, so next up, this is the title. Next up, this is the title song from our album, The Ragged Edge. So the track is obviously called The Ragged Edge by Tanglejack.
And now this is The Garden of Your Heart by Tanglejack.
We chase our shadows in circles that lead us back to the start, where we wait for some miracle, someone to walk us through our part, and all the while fill a bucket of rocks. Every mistake and move we make, each time we fall, each time we take our knocks, just to see what we can take. But I'm just walking on this tightrope. I take a step over the ledge. I'm just holding on to the ragged edge. I'm just holding on to the ragged edge. The ragged edge. In the firelight we see the spark of the new life yet to come, and crowded around us in the dark are the ghosts we will become. Let them lay their hands upon your soul, let their blessings light your way. When the darkness takes its toll, they will guide you to the day. 'Cause we're just walking on this tightrope, taking steps over the ledge. We're just holding we're just holding on to the ragged edge. The ragged edge. Though we cling on tightly like sand on the shore, life slips through our fingers, the lighter touch lingers evermore. And so we sit atop this mountainside, thrown our stones into the deep, but it's beyond us to decide what to forget, what to keep. 'Cause we're just walking on this tightrope, taking steps over the ledge. We're just holding on to the ragged edge. We're just holding on to the ragged edge. The ragged edge. The ragged edge. The ragged edge.
Okay, so we're back on Rhondda Radio now, Scampatron with Tanglejack on Sonic Attack show every Saturday night 8 to 10 p.m. Hope you're enjoying the interview so far and all the other music I've been playing throughout this show, and also the songs from the guys, Tanglejack. You've had a few on so far already, great stuff. So any funny stories from gigs you got?
Yeah, we were playing in a covers band around Swansea, and we played this. Should we name the venue? Should we? No, let's not name the venue. So you're playing a venue in Swansea, not in the centre actually, it's slightly outside the centre. And it was one of those places where they were either going to lynch you or adopt you, one or the other, as you walked in. Luckily, they decided to adopt us, and by the end, they were asking us to give their gran a lift home and all this sort of stuff. It was crazy. But there was this guy who was quite threatening as we were getting set up. He wasn't very pleasant attitude and was making us feel a bit uncomfortable. But luckily, he sort of disappeared, and we didn't see him for the first hour we were playing, perhaps, until...
I did notice that suddenly everyone in the pub, and it was packed considering it was early on a Sunday evening, like 5 o'clock-ish, and there were loads of, kids, basically teenagers there. Everyone in the pub had their phones aimed at something. So we looked, and it was this chap. He'd returned, and he'd taken off literally every stitch of clothing, and he was just there dancing. And eventually he kind of morphed and, kind of like just appeared in front of us on the stage. Everything flapping about,
Everything
your imagination.
flapping about. No, not nothing. He was completely naked.
Completely naked. And like I said, about at least 50 people Facebook Live on their phones or just filming him, some of whom weren't even old enough to drink. It was all just utterly surreal.
It was.
Yeah.
So that's probably our favourite gig story, isn't it?
That's another flash incident, which Rob Revenge, who was on the other week, had as well. And a woman flashed the top off at a festival gig, and she also had little boys, blokes, older, but just blokes, took all tops off, swinging the tops around and doing that, and so long as it's not the bottom half, but it seemed it was the bottom half.
It was the bottom half, I'm afraid. It was the whole
top
thing.
Off, it
was everything.
Nothing was left to the imagination.
No.
I remember looking at him. I caught his eye later in that gig.
Caught his eye?
Well, yeah, because he was fully dressed again by that point, but he had like a fleece or something on.
Yeah.
And he took it off just because it was quite warm there. And I think I must have shot him a horrified look, and he just laughed, shook his head as if to say, no, don't worry, that's as far as it goes this time. So, yeah.
It was a one-time thing.
So, yeah, bonkers, yes.
It was bonkers.
So, talking about this gig in Chalk, you know, on the, Saturday 28th of June.
That's it, yeah.
Craft Festival in Chalk Boys and Girls Club. So we're going to talk about the other bands that are playing as well.
Yeah, but it's on from the 24th, the whole festival. So a few ones we've picked out is people we know, actually. Matthew Frederick, who's a local singer-songwriter, pianist, fantastic player, fantastic singer. So he's on the Thursday. And then Keisha Levain, apologies if that's pronounced incorrectly, but Keisha works with Two in Media and helps us out quite a lot with our merch and things. And she's a fantastic singer and guitarist as well. She's there on the Friday. And then we were just having listened, weren't we, to some artists on the Saturday who we don't know. And the ones we picked out were...
I was hoping you were going to read it.
Okay, yes, it's in my writing. Ade.
Had a very good voice.
Yeah, great voice. Yeah, really, really nice. They're on at 4 p.m, but just before us. We're on at 5:40. And then a band we really like the sound of called Taff Rapids are on at 7:20. They do some traditional Welsh folk stuff, but also some bluegrass-inspired music as well that they've written themselves. So, there should be stuff throughout the whole weekend. There's a silent disco on, an opera silent disco, which I really want to see and hear. And writing workshops, nature walks. There's lots and lots over the whole weekend, but the main music day is the Saturday.
Nice, lovely. So where we at now then? We're going to hum a song for us now then. We're going to guess what it is. And then we're going to play the song for you.
Okay. Right, let me think. I can't do that one, the one I was going to do, because he's already guessed it. So let's just think of something else. Hang on, let me start again. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Right, so that's when I'm 64. But
correct.
So I'll find that somewhere and play that for you. Okay, so that's when I'm 64 with the Beatles. Hummed by Tanglejack coming up next.
Get older, losing my hair many years from now. Will you still be sending me a Valentine, birthday greetings, bottle of wine? If I'd been out till 2:45, would you lock the door? Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64? Drop me a line stating point of view. Indicate precisely what you mean to say. You're sincerely wasting away
Right, so it's the last bit of the Tanglejack Interview now. We're saying ta-ra. We're going to play another song by them. So possibly the one we're trying to record tonight now in my little flat in Ponty. So let's say we've done a joke and we had the story and everything. So let's a chat about the song we're going to record. Try to.
Yeah, okay. We're going to record a song called White Hats, which has got a funny little genesis story to it, actually. There's a program that I love called Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Do you know it at all? Yeah, I was a massive fan of that. I still am a massive fan of that. There's this amazing episode where they switch and it goes into sort of alternate reality, alternate universe kind of thing.
What, as opposed to the reality where there's vampires and stuff?
Okay, within the Buffy verse, it's an alternate reality where the bad guys become good guys, etc., and people who are vampires who you don't expect to be vampires.
Angel must have been so confused that episode.
I think he's just locked in jail the whole time like a dog.
It's convenient.
Yeah. And they differentiate between the goodies and the baddies by calling the good guys white hats and the bad guys black hats, because back in the day when they had black and white westerns, that was how they differentiated between the good cowboys and the bad cowboys, the white hats and the black hats. So it's a song about the world we live in right now and how there's not many good people left in charge. It's called White Hats.
Okay, so we'll say ta-ra now then. Thanks for coming, guys. Shake your hand. Can't see it on the radio. Shake your hand anyway.
It happened. It really happened.
It did happen.
It did happen. Unless we're in alternative reality again or something.
You never know.
Yes, thanks for coming, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
hopefully
you.
you can come in again when you got some more songs or more gigs, whatever.
Yeah.
So if you want to introduce that song then we say ta-ra.
Okay, this is White Hats by Tanglejack. Thank you.
There's no white hats, not anymore. Got them dirty on the playground floor, fighting with toys, boys of war. There's no white hats anymore. See the signals in the sky, the letters in the sand. It's scorched into the earth and beaten into the land. Stand atop the highest peak, see the sun above the snow. But the storm that gathers at your feet is waging hell down there below. Hell down there below. Hell down there below. Come and wave your flag overhead and plant it in the ground. The earth it breaks may be dead, but look at all that rich black blood you found. Take a look around. There's no white hats, not anymore. Got them dirty on the playground floor, fighting with toys, boys of war. There's no white hats anymore. No white hats anymore. Pull the thread, even the score, tangled in string, gods of war. There's no white hats anymore. There's no white hats anymore. score. Now we're tangled in string with gods of war. There's no white hats anymore. There's no white hats anymore. There's no white hats anymore. Do we live or do I dream my way? Had no hope we'd see a new dawn break. Delivered from the storm to this strange land. Shipwrecked on a bed of golden sand. This tiny island saved our lives. Against the odds we have survived. Surrounded by an ocean void. Life is fragile, but not destroyed. Our journey began on a perfect sea, safe in the knowledge of our destiny. We knew just how the voyage would be and had worries and cares about nothing at all. Then storms drew in and we were blown off course, abandoned to the anchor of nature's force. Torn by gales, bruised by waves, we sailed under dark clouds, seeing nothing at all. Death's cold kiss, the lords of the deep beckoned us drown, but we didn't drown, we felt nothing at all. Hope had been found as we heard the sound of our boat crash to ground, then we knew nothing at all. No, nothing at all. No, nothing at all. This small rock is now our home. Here we aren't lonely, just alone. even, we can start again. Departed from the old life of tears and pain. We try to choose a future, but we decide nothing else.